Today, we are undertaking a deep dive into a concept that sounds, well, almost impossible. Designing a life that, once you've configured it, essentially runs itself. We're pulling some really extraordinary insights from the philosophy Dr. Elsa dos Reis Fernandes calls the art of set and forget.
And that phrase, set and forget, it usually makes you think of pure automation, like set the payment, forget the bill.
Right, finance stuff.
Exactly. But Dr. Fernandes takes this idea so much further. Our mission for you, the listener, is to really extract these powerful, actionable frameworks that help you stop chasing control. You gain peace not by, avoiding the messy reality of life, but by creating an elegant, resilient structure underneath it all.
So the goal is replacing anxiety with architecture.
And chaos with a true sense of flow, yes.
And what gives her work such a unique edge is her professional background. It's this kind of duality. She's a qualified veterinary surgeon, a DVM, and a human nurse.
Right. And that background is everything. It informs her One Health Architect approach.
One Health Architect.
Yeah. It means she views life and health through the lens of integrated ecological systems. So it's not just about patching up individual problems. It's about designing environments, whether that's a body, a home, or a financial plan, so that they all work together naturally.
So this is basically systems design, but applied to being human.
Exactly. And the foundational lesson here is so critical. Set and forget is not a philosophy of laziness or, neglect. It's rooted in trust, foresight, and a really disciplined design process. You aren't avoiding effort, you're front-loading it.
I like that. Front-loading the effort.
Peace, she argues, isn't the absence of stress, but the presence of structure that holds you steady when that stress inevitably arrives.
Okay, so let's start with the immediate antidote to daily overwhelm. Because the sources are pretty clear that burnout comes from treating absolutely every ping, every notification, every thought as equally important.
We end up micromanaging everything.
We do.
We do. We drown in noise, and we mistake it for signals. So she details this crucial daily filter that's designed to combat decision fatigue and restore clarity. It's a simple ritual, noticing 3 signals and 3 noises each day.
And this just trains your mind.
It trains your mind to tell the difference between what's a priority and what's just a distraction.
Okay, I want to focus on the signals first. What are the 3 things that genuinely deserve our attention because they, make tomorrow better?
The first signal is simple. What moves the day forward? These are micro wins. They feel light. They take maybe 20 minutes or less, but they are concrete.
So we're not talking about huge projects here.
Not at all. Think a small repair, preparing a simple meal for later, paying 1 bill, or just taking a 10-minute walk. It's about building momentum that makes tomorrow just a little bit easier.
I have to admit, when I'm tired, I do prioritize those obvious tasks, but I often skip the second category, which is more about regeneration.
And that's the second signal, what nourishes you or someone you love. This is regenerative input. It could be 5 minutes of stretching, sending a genuinely caring message to a friend,
or just drinking a proper glass of water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of your 5th cup of coffee, it's about tending to the system's energy reserves.
And the third signal is the one that really challenges me. What aligns with your long-term self?
That's the hardest one to spot. It rarely feels urgent, but it's like an invitation from your future self. It means maintaining financial consistency, dedicating 10 minutes to learning something, or just sustaining a good routine even when you don't feel like it.
And when you filter your day through those 3, you start to see that most of what you're doing is actually noise.
Most of it falls outside of them. Which brings us to the 3 noises that scatter our energy, the things we should be actively forgetting.
Okay, what's the first one?
The primary noise is the urgent but not meaningful. This is where pressure lives, but without any real purpose. It's that impulse to check messages every 5 minutes, the repeated checking of news.
The feeling that you have to fix every tiny problem right now.
Right, instead of just scheduling it for later. And the second noise is directly related to that decision fatigue we mentioned.
Unnecessary decisions.
Exactly. Noise creates choice where a simple architecture could exist. If you ask, what do I cook? Every single night, you are just generating noise.
But if you set and forget a rotation, like Tuesday is always soup night.
You free up all that mental bandwidth. And that clarity is needed for creativity, not for figuring out dinner again.
And the third one, which I think drains all of us, is emotional clutter.
This is the internal friction that adds nothing to the system. We're talking about overthinking past conversations, unwarranted guilt, catastrophizing, worrying endlessly about what other people think.
It's tension that doesn't lead to action.
It's just spinning your wheels.
Mm.
The ritual of identifying these three noises, it systematically sharpens your awareness and just pulls your attention away from pressure and toward productive structure.
So once we have that daily filter, the next step is to apply that idea of compounding to the macro systems in our lives. And the sources introduce this beautiful analogy, seeing life as a biological system, not just a to-do list.
This is where her One Health background really shines. She uses the layered structure of biology to explain how habits build on each other. So it starts with the cell.
A single cell.
A single cell, which is a micro habit. Drinking water, making your bed, a simple thank you note.
And when a cluster of those cells works toward a single function,
that creates the organ. This is a cluster of micro habits forming a routine. Your consistent sleep routine, your structured morning rhythm, your weekly meal prep flow. These are the functional components of your life.
and those organs, when they're integrated, they form a system.
Exactly. A full area of life running with rhythm, like a fully functioning financial system or a robust health system.
So when all those systems are integrated and carrying the load, the result is the ultimate goal.
The organism. Your whole life working as a coherent whole. And when the organism is integrated, life feels light because you don't need to chase control anymore. The design carries you forward.
The beauty of it really is in the compounding, isn't it? She stresses that the tiniest consistent acts, saving a few euros or having a gentle, predictable conversation with a partner, they build these invisible foundations. You don't see the daily growth, but the structure gets stronger.
And this is where she grounds the whole philosophy in persistence. You know, talent is great, but consistency is omnipotent. She quotes this powerful Portuguese saying, "Agua mole en pedra dura, tanto bate até que fura."
Soft water on hard stone hits so much it breaks through.
Soft water, patient and persistent, can shake stone. It reminds you that the result never comes from the single hardest blow, but from that relentless rhythm.
She also brings in the famous persistence of Calvin Coolidge, who believed persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. Even Thomas Edison's thousands of trials to create the light bulb serves as a metaphor here.
It's all iterative design. You don't fail, you just find another way the circuit won't close and you gently adjust the path. This belief means you never give up just because the solution isn't immediate. You trust the rhythm, not the speed.
Okay, let's talk about the Serenity portfolio. It touches on wealth, but it shifts the focus from money to what she calls the most valuable and least monitored asset we have: time.
We treat time so recklessly because we think it's infinite. We get a financial statement every month warning us if our balance is low, but time doesn't offer a statement like that.
Right, there's no time statement.
And it compounds so much faster than money when you use it intentionally. It's critical that we start tracking its returns.
So how does time compound in our favor?
Well, exponentially within your body and your relationships. Think about it. A single extra hour of sleep returns as resilience and clarity the next day. 1 hour spent bringing order to your desk returns as an hour of focused calm later on.
So time compounds in your nervous system.
In your nervous system, your mood, your relationships, every hour you invest in rest or family or deep work, it multiplies into better quality days ahead.
So since we don't get that time statement, we have to audit ourselves. She suggests 2 really powerful questions. Where did the last hour go? And crucially, was it aligned with who I want to become?
We have to approach spending our time with the same care we would our last euro. Now, looking at the actual financial side of the Serenity portfolio, she suggests balancing 4 elements: growth, stability, liquidity, and curiosity.
Can you define those components for us and maybe clarify some of the acronyms that popped up?
Of course. So stability often means real estate. It offers permanence and anchor to the physical world. For steady rhythm and growth, she suggests things like ETFs, exchange-traded funds, which give you broad, steady market exposure. And sometimes PPRs, which are regional personal pension plans for long-term savings.
Okay, got it.
Liquidity comes from gold and simple cash reserves. That brings stillness and readiness.
And the element of curiosity. That one was interesting.
That's a small space for digital assets like Bitcoin for innovation and ongoing learning. But the key here is the scale. Serenity comes from scale and simplicity, not from speculation. The whole beauty of the system is that it only requires simple yearly rituals, like one quiet weekend in autumn to review things, instead of daily frantic worrying about the market.
The piece is in letting the system do the work. Let's move to how this design applies to our body and mind, which she calls the first house we inhabit.
The body demands rhythm for self-care. She references the power of music in maintenance, like doing simple repetitive tasks like folding laundry to a steady beat. It's a way to invoke that state of flow that the psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi described.
That state where challenge and skill just perfectly align.
Exactly. And she offers this conceptual framework for resisting flow. The formula was a bit much, but the idea is simple.
Yeah, let's make that accessible.
Okay, so think of the resistance to flow as being high when you have a lot of inner friction. That's your self-doubt, your guilt. Resistance is also high when the distance between thought and action is too long.
When every task requires 3 extra decisions before you can even start.
Precisely. So the goal is to shorten that distance. And this is key, to also widen the space for rest and connection. If you are constantly depleted, dehydrated, or sleep deprived, the path for action is choked. By prioritizing rest, sleep, hydration, and connection, you widen that path. You lower resistance, and flow can happen naturally.
She then dives into specific biological maintenance loops, starting with muscle. She calls it the organ of longevity. Why is muscle so central to system design?
Because muscle isn't just about strength, it's an endocrine organ. When you move your muscles, they release these anti-inflammatory molecules called myokines.
Myokines.
And these myokines are like tiny messengers that cross the blood-brain barrier. They protect your brain, they lower inflammation, they support cognitive health. So movement is essential for a long-term chemical serenity.
And she also spotlights a specific mineral, the mineral of serenity, iodine.
Iodine is fundamental. It's a key component of your thyroid hormones, T3 and T4, which regulate your entire metabolism and energy. If you're deficient, it directly affects concentration, learning, mood regulation. A small, consistent intake supports natural harmony in the system.
Finally, the chronic stress loop. How does setting up rhythm serve as the antidote to chronic stress?
Chronic stress keeps the hormone cortisol chronically elevated. When cortisol is high, it physically interferes with the hippocampus, that's the memory center of the brain, and it suppresses the immune system. But crucially, high cortisol also suppresses oxytocin.
The attachment and safety hormone.
Exactly. So rhythm isn't just about productivity, it's about signaling safety to your body. When you introduce rhythm deep, slow breathing, reliable sleep schedules, affection, steady connection, you lower cortisol and you elevate oxytocin. You're signaling to your most ancient brain systems, we are safe, the system is steady, and that allows the body to maintain and heal.
Moving into the home, this is where architecture gets really practical. She discusses the home itself as a living organism where clutter, physical and emotional, traps energy. What's the simple system for that?
It's a continuous act of awareness. Never leave a room with empty hands.
I love that.
It's a profound micro-habit. Every time you cross a threshold, you carry something with you. A cup to the kitchen, a book to the shelf, a coat to the closet. It's an act of continuous, effortless maintenance that keeps energy in motion and prevents that catastrophic weekend cleanup.
And she extends this to family life, advocating for parenting by design, not just reaction.
She suggests the hello, brilliant, Bruna, awesome, Adriana method, using specific affectionate adjectives when you address your children by name. And this isn't just about being nice, it's a design strategy to help shape a child's inner voice.
So they internalize that definition of themselves.
If they hear themselves defined as brilliant or awesome, that becomes the internal melody they operate with, regardless of external failures.
And I love the cultural wisdom she weaves in here, referencing the Portuguese tradition of soãs veladas.
Those quiet evenings of shared craft and conversation. It's a purposeful design act against modern noise. These were the hours where hands stayed busy, knitting, mending, preparing food, but minds were allowed to rest and connect in this soft, non-demanding way.
It teaches us that true connection is often silent.
Rooted in proximity and shared, gentle purpose. Love just stays nearby and hums softly.
Let's close with the final system designed to maintain this structure over time. The quarterly Serenity Audit, aligning reviews with the 4 seasons.
The purpose here is foundational. You must be the thermostat, not the thermometer.
Okay, break that down.
The thermometer just passively registers conditions. It's cold, I'm stressed. The thermostat actively responds to those conditions. It senses the cold and it lights the fire. The audit ensures you are actively tuning the system, not just registering its failures.
And how does the seasonal framework guide us to tune the system?
Winter is the time for conservation. You focus on simplifying, automating what can rest, allowing projects to hibernate. Spring invites renewal. Planting new ideas, starting small habits, actively repairing what needs mending.
And what about that crucial phase before the cycle restarts?
Autumn. Autumn is for critical evaluation. You release what no longer serves, decluttering your space, your schedule, and you update the systems before the next cycle of conservation begins. The entire point is celebrating progress and continuity, never chasing the exhaustion of perfection. Serenity is a constant, kind climate, sustained through confident simplicity.
This entire deep dive brings us back to that core lesson. The reward of designing once is the freedom to simply live. You set the system, and it keeps working quietly long after your immediate attention is moved somewhere else.
And that quiet power applies to the largest systems we build as well. Dr. Fernandez leaves us with a truly profound thought. The future of artificial intelligence depends entirely on the state of the human nervous system that builds and guides it.
Wow, that is a fascinating link.
She argues that if the humans creating these systems are anxious, frantic, and chaotic, then their machines will serve chaos. But if we stay calm, grounded, and clear, our machines will serve clarity and calm. The ultimate task in this technological age is not to outsmart AI, but to guide what she calls humanity's last invention through ethics, clarity, and emotional steadiness.
A powerful reminder that our internal architecture really does dictate our external world. What system can you set and forget today to create space for clarity?